Alrighty, so we have the first teaser for part 2. It is funny how these things work. You know, we were just talking about like, when is the part 2 teaser? When are we going to start getting this stuff? And here we have it. The long-awaited sort of discussion point, again, that we have been waiting for a minute is now here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and give it a quick watch, and then I will explain what it means. Now, before we even click this, the leak situation definitely took some wind out of this teaser sales, but it at least does confirm what we know. I'll at least just say that. Okay, so no voice lines this time, so it's not going to be as vague, but this does confirm, if you guys don't know, GT, more specifically the Shadow Dragons, right? The Dragon Ball breaking, and if you guys don't know, right, a lot of the negative energy from the Dragon Balls and stuff like that. This is basically what you need to know here from this specific teaser. So this does confirm that GT is going to be part of GDC and part 2. So the Omega Shenron leak appears to be 100% real, right? Exactly what we thought it was going to be. Now, again, it is a bit disappointing with the leaks, right? That's why people say leaks suck, and in that case, it definitely does. This one was definitely a bit of an anomaly in terms of leaks, though, because this wasn't in a data download. It wasn't shown in some exclusive thing. It was just someone goofed, and it got put into the... why can't I talk all of a sudden? The jukebox for burst mode, right? So a bit of an interesting case, but again, the leak just makes it suck because we already knew exactly what it was going to be. Now, the question pivots to, as most of you probably imagine, what is it going to be consisting of for the Carnival LR? And with that, I don't know, but let's go ahead and talk about some categories that are going to be impacted the most by this being GT. Now, first up on the list, I have GT bosses. This is going to include the new Dokkan Festival exclusive LR, Omega Shenron. So this means that we have a decent bit of potential for EZAs and like maybe a super EZA, I'm not sure. It is really tight for GT bosses to get like a worthwhile EZA, right? Really the only character I see here, really the only two characters I see here that are really in line for an EZA would be this Sin Shenron and this Super 17. So Sin Shenron came out during the 7th anniversary over on Global and JP, and this was before the versions were synced up. So as you guys can see, it was July, so 3 years ago. So we can start talking about this guy getting his EZA. And if we zoom out here, I think that there actually is some interesting stuff here, right? A guaranteed additional, a high chance of performing a crit, guard disabling, building up the attack and defense. But 7 orbs definitely is quite a considerable amount, and I don't know how consistently you're going to be able to get that with this character, so it's kind of tough to say how good his EZA would be, but for like a random sub EZA during the anniversary, if they were to do that, I think this is a likely candidate because GT bosses is really not in a good way right now, right? When you just think about how the team is laid out, it is not good whatsoever. And I think before we move on to Omega, if we look here, Super 17, I also think is a very high chance of getting an EZA during the celebration. Very similar to the sort of release of Infusion Zamasu, a yellow coin LR that is pretty damn good. That wasn't good, excuse me. I just got done watching the UFC fight, and we had a little bit to drink, but we have to churn on, right? Dokkan drops a teaser, I got to do a video. So Super 17 was terrible. Yeah, he was terrible. And so I don't really know where this EZA goes, right? This right here, not great. After the end of the turn, they just need to reword this whole thing, right? Well, I guess for 3 turns, that's not bad because then you'll see it on the next appearance. So maybe if they up this rate, I know why they're doing all these 17 right here, like, you know, 117, 217, 317, 417, right? Like, you guys get the idea, 170%. For the, it's like, you know, they're trying to, nobody can beat him when he's Super 17, right? So when they do this Super 17, you know, EZA here, I think that there is some potential for the GT Bosses team, all of that fun stuff in order to kind of see where you want to go. Now, when it comes to Omega, this is really important because this is going to be the categories that we're mainly going to be working with for the character, right? So we talked about GT bosses. I think Inhuman Deeds potentially could be like an all right spot for this character. You look at Inhuman Deeds right now, if like, imagine this guy's like a 220 for Inhuman Deeds characters, and you have a lot of like decent characters here, right? Grade 8 Vegeta, Int Broly, Rose, Tech Broly, this Super 17 if he potentially gets an easy A, the clones, right? This Rose. So Inhuman Deeds, especially if they get another leader for whatever reason, I think they actually could be in a pretty good way here. But the problem with Inhuman Deeds is we have this Vegeta and we have this Slug. So Vegeta released in late 2024 and Slug released also in late 2024. So the odds of us getting 3 Inhuman Deeds leaders in that span of time is pretty low, but I think potentially he could work on a team like this, right? I think Inhuman Deeds is not like a terrible location for him, and it might sort of work out in that way. Now, when we can just close all these, most of these tabs here, right? So transformation boost, looking at this one for Omega again, this team is okay, right? The LR scene has not really been updated much since the at all since the 10th anniversary here. You know, you've got Gohan, Super Saiyan 4, Goku, and stuff like that. But this team is drastically missing out on some of the best characters in the game, right? No Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, no 10-year Vegito, no 10-year Gogeta, no Vegito from the, or no Blue Goku and Vegeta from the GDC, no Rose from GDC. So this team's in a bad way right now. It has some good characters, but it's definitely not top end. So I would probably look away from this team. Now, Shadow Dragon Saga is not a team. Power Absorption is sort of a team. It's not a huge one, right? Like, you have some good stuff here, but they haven't gotten an LR. Like, this Omega is going to be the newest LR on this team since 2023. Yeah, 2023. Yeah, 2023. I'm just thinking Tanabata 2023. That's when this guy came out. So, like, you have some good TURs here, right? Like Golden Week, Boo from last year, this version of Buhan, Cell, you know, this version of Cell, you know, First Form Cell, Transforming Cell. He is like all right on this team, but again, you just don't have a lot to work with here. And so Power Absorption, full power, I would lean towards it being a little more super class focused. Yeah, like super. Then we go to the TURs, super. Yeah, it's more of a super class team, but I guess like the extreme version of this team sucks. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not great. So full power, again, you just look at the teams of this Omega. It's like Battle of Fate, I guess, would be like an okay setup for these guys, because then you're going to have access to some of the better characters in the game. But the problem is, again, you are not going to have access to the 10 years on like a pure Battle of Fate team. So Omega's categories is an uphill battle for sure. In terms of like where we could expect him to be. But overall, I think that they definitely can work something in. It depends on if they want to get like funky and do like a new category or something. I don't think that's a guarantee. I think if they were going to do a new category, they'd release it during part 1, but they did not do that. So that is sort of where we are standing with the GT bosses right now. Again, it's like when I think about like the categories for Omega, I am not liking what I'm seeing here. And maybe I'm just not seeing things properly, but it's like we're going to need quite a bit to get this character where he needs to be, because I don't find myself running like any of these teams like ever, right? Maybe by proxy, like Transformation Boost, somewhat Full Power, Battle of Fate. Like you can slip those ones in and you can get away with running them, but they're definitely not like, you know, fan favorites and like teams that I'm constantly running, especially in this day and age with the meta where almost every fight for me is just like, all right, fused fighters, Pure Saiyans, successors / Pure Saiyan / fused fighters, right? Earth protecting heroes, aka the Vegito team, the Gogeta team, the Blue Goku and Vegeta team, Goku Black and the clones, super bosses, basically every team that I talked about in my best teams video that I did recently. You guys can check that out on the channel. I really like that video and you guys seem to like it as well. But that is sort of where I'm at with that. And I don't find myself running any of these teams right here as some of the best in the game. So for the GT bosses situation, again, we have a very steep uphill battle for it to be where we need it to be. But you got to have faith in Omatsu. You got to have faith in Geppy. Maybe we find a way to make this guy he has to be absolutely busted, right? Like, if they want people to summon on this banner, well, I guess, and again, like we talked about this recently, but like the part 2 banner right here, we know every character that's going to be on it. Banner unit, Omega, Vegito, Broly, Broly, Zamasu, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4s, and then whatever Super EZAs they want to do. The main like way that they're gonna people I feel like that are summoning on this banner would just be summoning for Vegito at that point, and the 4s, right? Because this Omega that's gonna be in this spot, not really working the way you'd want him to. So again, like if he's not in the top 4 to 5 range or like a better, it's just gonna be really hard to get people to summon. Because I'm sure we're gonna move on to talk about this next. There's a big boy coming for the other part, for the other side, right? The Carnival. And I don't know if you know who he is. It's this guy right here. In some proxy, it could be a character very similar to this. What I am expecting personally is a reversible exchange, Super Saiyan 4, Goku, and Vegeta, but it's going to lead as Vegeta. So the SSR on the banner, like if we were to go to the Carnival banner, the SSR right here is going to be a Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta in this spot, right? And then they're going to tag into Goku, and then it's either going to be a fusion that you can play as, or it's going to be a fusion that is just part of the active skill, very similar to what we've seen so far during this GDC with Zamasu and Vegito Blue. And that is sort of like, it's a dicey sort of, or it's a thin line to, a thin rope to climb, right? Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like you got to tread carefully when you're doing something like this, because it could really annoy players if it's just a no fusing Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. Now, can they get away with that? Yes, we've seen Legends do that for Legends Festival, and you know it's worked in the past because Super Saiyan 4 is just such a hype form, and individually Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta have been they've been in their fair share of anniversaries, right? In terms of like how they've headlined, they've been the main draws of the anniversary. Super Saiyan 4 Goku was Tanabata. He headlined 2 anniversaries individually, and then a third one as the combined unit, right? And then it's going to be his 4th like major headlining with this GDC technically. So it's going to be, in my opinion, a Vegeta that tags into Goku, and then they either fuse or it's an active skill. So that is what I'm thinking for the other character for part 2. But who are the main teams that I'm excited to try these guys out on? Well, we look at the teams here, and we have a substantial amount of categories that are good. Fused Fighters, good team. Pure Saiyans, good team. Giant Ape Power, this is going to be a team after we get this character. So we do the math, right? 1 character, 2 characters, 3 characters. Then we go down to the easy A's. 4, 5, potentially 6, potentially 7, potentially 8. So all of a sudden, we got ourselves a team, chat. Ladies and gentlemen, any word you want to use, we have a team. And that's pretty exciting because we know how we feel about Giant Ape Power at this point as a category. People they adore Super Saiyan 4. And the ability to use Super Saiyan 4 like this is going to be nice. And you know who's coming. It's not a secret. He is becoming like, you know, a meme at this point. It's like, when are we going to get him? But Super Saiyan 4 Goku from Daima is inevitable, right? Like, there's no way they don't do that at some point. And this team is going to be ready to go. Like, Giant Ape Power individually, it's going to be ready to go when he's here, right? Because think about when that team comes out. We have this character, this character, this character, the new LR, that's going to be 4. And then we have 5 with his potential EZA, which could be a mammoth one, right? Then maybe a super EZA down here for 6, 7, right? 8, 9. It's just like there's so many different characters that you could run on this team and make it work. So that's what I'm excited for. This character stocks are going to go way up with this new character, giving this support that we have right here, right? We got the extra 70% defensive support and then the damage reduction. And it's just, you're looking really good when you have this character here with the healing that he can do, the giant form that he has access to. Just a lot of really good things that are coming from this Goku, and he's going to get a lot better here very soon. Now, Fused Fighters is basically the best team in the game right now. You know, number 1 unit in the game, number 2, number 3, right? Number 4, number 5. You guys get the idea. So you have this sort of setup right here, and he's just going to fit in like a glove on this team, especially if you link him up with this character right here. We are in a good way for where that team needs to be. Now, Pure Saiyans, it has a lot of overlap with the teams that we just looked at. Joint Forces, right? Battle of Fate, Bond of Parent and Child, Earth Protecting Heroes, Kamehameha. All of these teams here are going to be getting the same amount of buffs and really just becoming a lot better for the sort of outlook for the celebration. So we'll close this video with talking about what this banner is going to be. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is going to be right here. This is going to be Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. This is going to be Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This is going to be STR Family Kamehameha Gohan. This is going to be the Gammas. This is going to be Physical Sword of Hope. This is going to be a GT banner unit, probably that baby that came out during Tanabata 2024. 2023, I always mix that one up. And then this is going to be more than likely Super 17 because he's going to be getting his EZA. And these will just be two GT related EZA, sub EZA characters. So there you guys have it. GT for part 2. This is what GT is going to be looking like. The team is going to sort of get to where it needs to be. It's going to be really fun overall for what we're looking for. So let me know how excited you guys are. How many stones do you have saved up for part 2? And are you excited for the sort of streamlined teasers that are coming up really soon? So thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.